Hello everybody, this is the grade 10 theory unit. Today's lesson is 6A and the topic is compound time. Oops, sorry about that. So similarities and differences with simple time. So last year, grade 9, the concept of simple time was what we dealt with primarily, and that was referring to if we had a time signature such as 4/4, for example, we're dividing the pulse or the quarter note into into groups of 2, basically. So a basic beat. So remember, like 4/4, and if we said, okay, well, basic beat is just simply going to be 4 quarter notes, and then we said our beat breakdown would be taking each of those quarter notes and dividing it into two notes that would represent the same value as a single quarter note. And if we had a half note, we would be using quarter notes, right? So to basically taking that basic beat and dividing it into two parts. Compound time is similar in that it's going to be, we're going to have our basic beat and our beat breakdown, and bars are going to be grouped into beat groupings of 2, 3, and 4. And time signatures will have 2 numbers indicating the number of beats and the type of note assigned to the pulse. There's still a basic beat and a beat breakdown. So all of those things are familiar and similar to both simple and compound time. But there are 2 big differences that exist between these types of time. So the first one being is that compound time beats, or the pulse, break down into 3 and not 2 as a simple time signature might. And the other is that the time signature, remember last year, 4/4, so we just simply said, okay, basic beat, 4 quarter notes. And we drew our basic beat on the top, and then underneath the line we would show our beat breakdown. In compound time, the time signature, instead of telling you this top basic beat, the compound time signature actually tells us the beat breakdown, and then from that we have to determine what the basic beat is. So those are the 2 main distinctions that are between simple and compound. So time signatures, quick review, 2 numbers. They tell us 2 pieces of information. The top number always tells us how many number of beats there are in a measure, and the bottom note tells us which type of note gets the beat. In compound time, each beat breaks down into 3. So to find the top number of a compound time signature, we multiply the beat grouping by 3. So on the left here, we've got what we refer to as the basic feel for a time signature, a compound meter. So we have duple bars, we have triple bars, and quadruple bars. So an example of a duple bar, if we have 2 distinct components in the measure, as in two distinct halves, like 6/8, for example, we would have the 6 represents a group of 2 in compound time. A triple bar would be 3, so the number 9 represents a group of 3 in compound time. And a quadruple bar, as in 4 distinct groups, still represented by 3 notes of some value, and that gives us 12 to represent a group of 4 in compound time. So the note values for the bottom number of a compound time signature can be as follows. So we can have half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, and sixteenths. But again, the difference will be in how they're grouped. So due to the fact that compound beats are subdivided into 3, a dotted note must be used to represent individual beats in a compound time signature. And remember that there must be 3 of each value in each beat. So 1 beat and half note values, again, we need to, this is showing us the division of 3. We are responsible for, so this would be our example of a beat breakdown. We have to determine what this would be. So these would be what you see on the bottom portion when you're writing out the basic beat and the beat breakdown for compound meter, and this would be on the top. So 3 half notes, we need a single note, and it's going to be a dotted value, again, because everything is going to be in 3, and we know that the dotted note values are what we use to represent the same total time value. So 3 half notes, a dotted whole note represents the same amount. 3 eighths notes beamed together, dotted quarter note, 3 quarter notes, dotted half note, and 3 sixteenths, dotted eighth note. Okay, so again, we'll look at a couple examples. This will start to make more sense when we start to apply it with some examples. So as we're saying earlier, so basic beat and beat breakdown, we still have that, except that the compound time signature tells us the beat breakdown. This is very important. So what you see here in each of these examples is actually, and so 6 half notes is going to be going on the bottom rather than on the top. This is different from simple time, so just be careful when you're looking at that, right? So again, basic beat still on top, but the beat breakdown underneath. And again, compound meter, draw in what you we used to refer to in simple time, this time signature, oh, that's the basic beat. It's actually beat breakdown, so that's important. So 6 half notes for our first example, and those are going to go on the bottom. Make sure your stems are going down underneath the line, and anything above the line stems up if it's applicable. So again, this is what we call a duple bar. So how do you determine if it's a duple, a triple, or a quadruple? Well, we just talked about if it's a duple, it's going to be 2 times 3. Triple is 3 times 3. Quad. Oh my goodness. Quadruple. Oh my gosh. Is going to be 4 times 3. You can do the opposite. You can divide by 3 to get the sense of what's going on. So 6, 2. If you take the 6, divide that by 3, you're left with the 2, right? So this is that's the duple aspect, right? So it's referring to the fact that there's 2 distinct values that are existing here. So the 3 half notes, dotted quarter note, other 3 half notes, other dotted quarter. So here's the first half of the duple. So 6, 2, much like 6, 8, would be felt in 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's what that's referring to. There's the right? Each bar is divided into 2 components. So triple bar, same idea. This time it's 9, 4, so 9 quarter notes goes on the bottom. And again, remember, everything's in 3 on the bottom, so what do those values combine to equal? 1, 2, 3. Dotted half notes is our basic beat. 12/8 time, draw your 12/8 notes underneath. Again, you're beaming them in groups of 3 because it's a beat breakdown. And this will show you the distinct, hey, we've got a quadruple bar. There's actually 4 groups of 3. And then another example, 6/16. Again, this would be a duple bar as well. If you do 6 divided by 3, you get 2. And just to go up for these runes real quick, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So there's our 4 distinct patterns. 9 by 3 is 3, 1, 2, and 3. So the note values will obviously determine what, or be determined by what the time signature is telling us here. Okay, so some compound time rhythms. So the last element of compound time is applying the rhythms to the time signatures. And because each beat is subdivided into 3, the basic rhythmic feel and look of compound time is different to that of simple time. So we always beam rhythms by beats in groups of 3, and beam combinations of different valued beam notes are together by beat as well. So in this example, we've got 6, 4, and you notice when we're aligning beats or pulses, or we're looking to do, because we'll be doing this exercise in a minute. Again, we always, just like we did in simple time, we write in our basic beat on the bottom when we're writing out rhythms or determining what rhythms are. And remember, because you're compound meter, you actually need to take it a step further. So it's not just simply 6 quarter notes underneath. Again, that's your beat breakdown. So you have to determine, is this a duple, triple, quadruple bar? What's the value going to be reducing to? So 6 quarter notes is the beat breakdown. It's a duple bar, so I need to have 2 different groups of those 6 quarter notes, and that would be the dotted half note, which is what you're seeing here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on top is what you're going to be aligning those groups. So you're looking for, everything should have that duple pattern. So everything that's grouped, and I'm circling here, you'll notice that everything that's, again, contained within the circle should equal the dotted half note value. If we look at another example, this one's a triple bar, 9, 4. So again, 9 quarter notes, that's our beat breakdown because it's compound. So what does that 9 divided by 3 gives us the fact that it's a triple bar, so then we need to have 3 dotted half notes to represent this. And a whole bunch more examples. So 6, 8 time, duple bar as well. Now you can see, once we start having like 6, 8, and 9, 8, and 12, 8, we start to incorporate beams. And beams are really helpful visual tools because they really give you the sense of what's taking place in terms of your alignment. It's far easier to see first half of the bar, second half of the bar, etc. And when we're reading music, this is a skill that we want to be applying as well. So sight reading, for example, or really anything, your rhythm unit that you've been working on too, saying all those rhythmic patterns, you really want to train your eye to recognize things that are beamed together because they're going to be illustrating what your pulse is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, da, 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 right? So looking at how those things are all connected is really important. So scrolling down, you get the sense. You can always, right, see the middle half of the bar, and if I use this 16, right, you can really get a sense of where things are located. Okay, so we have a couple examples. We'll go through just a quick summary of what these are. So Right off the bat, though, there is a mistake here in this first example. So this question number 1 says, write the basic beat with stems up and the beat breakdown with stems down for the following time signatures. Well, if you'll notice this first example, 6-2, we actually don't have our beat breakdown as 6 half notes. We've got 6 quarter notes. So this one actually, there's 2 things you could do. You could try and make these quarter notes into half notes, or it's just easier to just make that 6/4. Now this works out. So there's our beat breakdown. 6 quarter notes. 6 divided by 3 is 2. We've got a duple bar, so we need to be grouping our 3 quarter notes into groups of basically two distinct groups. And the way the note we're going to use for that is a dotted half note. If we go over here to 9/4. So what's our beat? The time signature again always tells us the beat breakdown. So 9 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Stems going down. And then we know 9/3 is 3, so this is a triple bar. So what we're going to have on top is a dotted half note to represent each of those groups. And there's, you can see, there's your 3 distinct group patterns that are existing. If we do another example, sure, let's do 6/16. So 3, 4, 5, and 6. And you can see right away, I'm already anticipating and knowing the fact that, you'll start to recognize, okay, if it's a 9, that's a triple. 6 is a duple. 12, that's quadruple. So you'll start to, just instinctively start to organize these in those fashions. So again, what is a dotted note value that represents 3/16 notes? And the answer is a dotted 8th note. Okay, so then again, always make sure you're aligning your pulses so everything is nice and neat and easy to recognize. Question number 2 is going to be identifying key signatures. That actually should be a couple typos in this. Identify time signatures. How about that? From the following rhythms. It'd be pretty hard to find a key signature on this one, or any of these rather. Okay, so you can see here, so we got 2 different things. So 9/8 are what we determined to be our time signature, but how did we get there? So the first thing we did is we count a note value. And as I was saying earlier, there are some clues for this question. Clues being dotted note values and beamed note values. So we're going to start here at the end, and we'll start, okay, we've got 3/8 notes. Well, we know that, again, we're in compound time, so we know that we're going to be having things beamed into groups of 3. So let's just go ahead and start using some 1/8 notes, because I know that'll work for all these other ones as well. So 3/8 notes, align those, there's one group. 3/8 notes, can I apply that to this rhythm? Yeah, I can. 1, 2, and then there's 3. And then finally, dotted quarter note is also 3/8 notes. So there's my 3 bars. So once I've done that and determined what my basic or beat breakdown value is, there's my time signature right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1/8 notes. Okay? If I come over here, do another example. Let's see. Sure, let's do this one down over here. So again, clues, things that are being together, and also dotted note values. So here I have a dotted whole note. So there's something to take note of. So I know that a dotted whole note as a basic beat its beat breakdown would be 3 half notes. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw my 3 half notes, and I'm just going to go ahead and call that basically one beat grouping, collection of beats there. Can I use 3 half notes to kind of do the rest of these? Well, I can draw a half note for, I know 2 whole notes, and that half note are going to be another value of 3 half notes. And then I also know that 2 quarter notes, a half note, and 2 more quarter notes is another value. So I got a triple bar. And when you're done, you're going to say, okay, well, how many half notes? Count up what you've got on the bottom with your basic value, and that's going to be your time signature. So 9 half notes. So the answer for this question, this is a 9/2 time. And we'll do one more down here. So again, we're looking for things that are connected right away. You can tell this is a duple bar. There's my 2 beat groupings. I've got 3/16 notes, and I can also get 3/16 notes out of this. So this question is going to be 6/16. Okay? So very quickly you can start to recognize some of these patterns and start to see some quicker ways of identifying time signatures. And then last, this example, you've got to write 2 bars of rhythm for each of the following time signatures, and then align a basic beat under each bar with the stems going down. So a basic beat, again, 6/4, that's our beat breakdown because it's compound. So we have to figure out 6 quarter notes. It's a duple bar, 6 by 3 is 2, so I know I have 2 distinct groups. Dotted note value to represent 6 quarter notes, dotted half note, dotted half note. 2 bars. So let's do an example quickly here. So we'll do 6/8 down here. I'm just going to go ahead right away, divide it in half. Now, 6/8 is my time signature. It's compound. Remember, that's referring to the beat breakdown. So 6/8 notes, what dotted note value can represent 6/8 notes? And the answer is the dotted quarter note. So I draw my dotted quarter notes underneath. And then now really I can just start creating any types of rhythms. So I'm just going to do this super simple. Maybe for this one. And we'll do something like this. There you go. So that's it for compound time. Have a look at these questions, work your way through these. Take a bit of time and just, again, the main distinctions are the fact that, again, time signatures in compound time will tell you the beat breakdown. And that top number can be divided by 3 to give you the sense, is this a duple bar, that's a triple bar, quadruple bar. And again, that's referring to the beat groupings that you're going to have. That's it. Thanks, everybody. 6B's on the way.